Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? I used to pray for times like this.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Maserati Neesh here, and you are tuned into the Neesh Speaks podcast, where I am giving you financial game so that you can obtain financial gains. And guess what? I have a very, very special guest. This young lady is everything. First of all, she's my niece. I adopted her a few years ago. She's everything. But I brought her on here specifically so that you can understand how easy it is for you to push through and obtain your goals and your dreams and get to a bag. My niece is only 23 years old, and she's doing the damn thing, okay? Shout out to my niece. Come on, SeSSIMARIE. Come on, SeSSIMARIE. SeSSIMARIE. And I've watched SeSSIMARIE literally transform from a personal assistant. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Parkers. Personal assistant, what? How many years ago?
That was only like a year ago. No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, she was a personal assistant. I watched her evolve in 2 years from being a personal assistant to learning financing. So for any of you guys that need assistance with financing, if you're trying to invest in real estate, you have to see my niece. She is a beast when it comes to financing. So I've watched her evolve from assistant to doing financing to purchasing real estate to teaching classes about financing, to investing in multiple businesses. So right now, she's in the process of opening her own Kumon Center. She's a real estate investor, and she also does financing. She's 23 years old. And not only does she just do that, but she's a med student. Come on, SeSSIMARIE! When I tell you I don't want to hear no excuses, don't give me none. Don't give me no excuses. Would you say, niece, at all?
At all. No
at
excuses.
At all. So let's just jump in. Okay, you're 23, right?
Yes, I'm 23 years old.
And she drive a Beamer. She bossing all the way up.
I'm trying to get a Maserati next. Cough, cough.
Come on, Maserati.
Maserati SeSSIMARIE. That's going to be my new name.
I love it. I love it. So what is it like for you being so ambitious and young and, you know, you're an entrepreneur. You're your own boss. Mm-hmm. Are any of your friends entrepreneurs?
A few of them are, but I think that I love being an entrepreneur. I love being able to travel when I want to, being able to wake up when I want to, just being able to make money and do things that I want to do. Mm-hmm. So I love being able to do that. So it's hard as well.
What are the challenges? Let's be very transparent. So we will talk about the challenges, then we will talk about the pros and the cons. So let's talk about the cons first and then the pros.
So the cons are that for me personally, I'm young. I'm 23. So I like to do things. I like to do a lot of things. So I spend a lot of money on food, going out, traveling. I waste a lot of money. Okay. So I had to learn money management because the money comes so quick and it's so abundant, but then it's so easy to lose that as well. So that's hard. So I have an accountant now, Mr. Ernest. Okay. So he helps me pay my taxes, file tax. I wasn't filing taxes.
Are you conscious when you're spending?
Yeah, I'm very conscious of what I'm doing.
Okay.
But I just spend. So now what I learned is that for everything that I buy, I need to be able to buy it at least 5 times. Otherwise, I don't get it.
Let me tell you one of the things that helped me. So first of all, I have 1 million bank accounts. I'm just obsessed
$1 million.
I'm obsessed with banking accounts. Mm-hmm. So I have a specific account for every business that I have, right? Okay. And I only allocate those specific funds for each business to that account. Mm-hmm. So, and I give myself consciously like a budget. So I have a Visa debit card, right? Okay. So when I do extra stuff, like if I do a speaking engagement or if somebody pays me to do a series of webinars or any extra money that I get from, I put that into my personal checking account. Okay. And that is the money that I use. That's like kind of like my wasteful money, right? And I do whatever that I want to do with my wasteful money. So if I want to take a wasteful trip, I'll take a
smart.
If I want to go on a trip, but it still keeps me consciously aware of my spending. And I do not step outside of what's in that account because it's allocated specifically for like entertainment and different things like that. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that you work hard and you live your best life. I'm a firm believer of that. Absolutely. But I am also very, very conscious of my spending and where my money goes. So I like to keep track of, my spending, and that helps me organize things. So you might want to try that. You might want to say, you know what? I'm only putting $5,000 in this account. This is personally for me. And you know that you got to do, I don't know, maybe like whatever you're doing for extra income, that can go into that bank account. And that's the money you use when you want to buy your food and all of that kind of stuff. Versus just constantly just spending everything coming out of the account and you're not paying it no mind. So that'll work. So, all right, so you said that you're young. And you spend money really, really fast. What else?
It's hard to find people that understand the entrepreneur lifestyle. Like, most people work 9 to 5, so my schedule is different. I work late hours and nighttime. I'm not always available to go out, attend events and different things like that because essentially I work for myself. And then being an entrepreneur, it's hard finding quality staff as well. Like, you have to have a payroll, pay people. Hopefully they don't call out. Hopefully they know what they're doing and they're not messing up your brand. So it's hard finding quality employees. So that's another challenge as well.
One of the things about staff, I think that when you are a great leader, I think that every business owner should definitely understand how to be a leader if you're going to go into business for yourself. If you have the desire to grow your business where you can no longer maintain it by yourself, you have to learn how to delegate well. You have to learn how to be instructional. Like, you have to learn how to teach people how to move and do things the way you want them to do it, specifically the way you want them to do it. And you have to teach them how to respect you without you being an asshole. I see a lot of business owners that turnaround is crazy. Their employees last a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. I've literally had the same staff for years.
That's amazing.
3-4 years, 5 years, same staff. Because I'm a great leader. And when I'm leading, I don't just think about me in my leadership. I think about if my business is generating more money, more revenue, I want to give my staff a little more. You know what I'm saying? Not that I got to keep everything. Why do I got to keep the whole 100%? If sales is up 50%, let me at least give them 20. If I can't do 20, let me give them 10 more. You know what I'm saying? Extra than what they were already making. It makes people stay committed to you and loyal, and it also lets people know that you care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just greedy. I don't need it all to myself. So I would say to you, as you grow and you're no longer able to run your business by yourself, to make sure you're leading well. Make sure you're leading well. So what are some other kinds? Or is that it?
What else is that?
I know one, because you know we talk like every other
What's
day.
one? Tell me.
You be like, Neesh, they won't stop calling my phone. Yo, listen. So this is what I would tell you for that. First of all, you already have 2 phones, so I don't know how. Like, you give everybody every number?
No, so I have 2 phones, but I use them interchangeably sometimes. So, like, when clients, they don't respect your time. They'll call you at 11 o'clock at night. You could answer real quick.
Barriers.
I
do. Know how you do that? My hours are from 9 to 5. When people DM me late at night and all that, Credit Medics, my staff, or Credit Medics can assist you between the hours of 9 to 5. Because I'm still human at the end of the day. And although you want me to be accessible to your every need, that's not a reality for me. Because I'm not going to break and disturb my peace of mind. That's how I'm able to be the best me for you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to set boundaries. So that other number, what I did when I had enough, I got another phone. And the business phone, my old number, I gave it to my assistant. She answers. I don't have time. Only y'all have my personal number. Okay?
That's true.
And even with y'all, if you don't want to talk and you need 5 minutes or 15 minutes to like debrief, then you do that. You do that.
That's true.
So that's one of the things that I hear you say. You're like, Neesh, they driving me crazy.
You could be like, I'm at a funeral. They're like, okay, I'm sorry for your loss. Quick question. So for financing, you be like, bruh, dang. They don't care.
SESSIMARIE. So how do you feel? Do you feel like, because you're so young, you're 23, do you feel like you being an entrepreneur, do you feel like you're inspiring your family and friends around you to also go into entrepreneurship?
I do. I think that I meet a lot of new people, but my circle is really, really small. So every friend that I have, every aunt, anybody that's in my circle is successful. So I feel like I inspire them, but they also inspire me as well. So I love entrepreneurship, but it is hard. I don't want anybody to think that it's just easy. Like, you make a whole bunch of money and it's easy, but I make sure that everybody in my circle is successful as well, and that I have quality mentors. That's really, really important when you want to be an entrepreneur.
I noticed that about you. It's crazy because I was thinking about you the other day, and I was like, I love how you positioned yourself to be around winners.
Yeah, always.
that was intentional.
But not take. That's the
Not
people
take.
don't
No.
understand that.
Talk
You
about
gotta
that.
like
Can
you
you
can't
talk about
you don't want to drain and drain and drain and drain. So like if I DM somebody, right, and I want them to be my mentor, someone will say, "Do you offer mentorship? Can you be my mentor?" And I may send a link for my finance and broker 101, 2500, right? So if I can't afford someone's mentorship, I'll slide in the DMs and say, "Hey, I would love for you to be my mentor. Are you able to go out for dinner? My treat. I would love to get to know you and just get some tips on the real estate game." And that's how I build relationships. You don't want to drain somebody and just take and take and take.
That is, how can I serve you? First of all, my millionaire girlfriend that just left that I interviewed asked me, "Can I serve you before I leave? Do you need me to do anything for you?" That's how you do it. Especially for somebody like me. I work hard, like you too. You grind all day and night. And on top of that, I'm a single mom. So I got to make sure my son is straight first. And I get so many people inquiring about mentorship. No, say, how can I help you? That's what gets my ears open when you say stuff like that to me.
Not how can I work for you, but how can I help you? Because when you're working for me, I'm training you and
right.
different things like that.
Because just by you being around me, in a day, you're going to learn so much.
You sure will.
My sister has been with me since, I think, September, October. She said, "Neesh, I'm just grateful for everything that I learned thus far." Because you're constantly hearing my conversations. You going to like business meetings. You sitting around. You're learning different strategies, games, leadership. All of that is so you meeting new people.
She knows a lot of powerful people. So
important.
It's good.
So important. Relationships are so important. So with your financing, what do you exactly do with financing? And you may have to like break it down so that everybody can understand what it is that you do and how it's beneficial. Like, what do you need to get your financing?
Okay, so basically I own my own financing company. It's called SESSIMARIE Financing, and I do nationwide financing for investment properties only. So I don't go through banks. I have lenders and private money lenders that I use to provide financing nationwide. So if you wanted to purchase an investment property and do construction to it, I can help with that. If you have a property and you want to pull equity out of it, I can also do that as well. If you wanted to buy a commercial building, a mixed-use building, multifamilies, I can help with that as well. So all things investment property, I'm able to provide financing for you. Okay. It's different.
So what if I say, okay, CeCe, I just bought a property. Let me not say that. I bought a property for $20,000. Okay. Right? But I don't have the money to fix it up. Okay. I don't have the money. It needs, full renovations. The whole house needs to be gutted down to the bricks. Everything needs to be, cleaned out completely. And I need to do construction. I need to rehab this whole house. Could you give me the money to do that?
I could. So you would qualify for a rehab only loan, and that's 100% financing of the construction.
What do I need to do that? So if I just spent my $20,000 on a house, do I have to bring more money to the table?
You would a few. You will have like closing costs from the title company, and there will be loan fees. But I would recommend applying for business credit, personal credit, seeing you doing your one-on-one program, and then you'll be able to have liquid assets in your bank account. And liquid assets is cash that's in your business or personal bank account. So then you would be able to apply for financing. The rehab may be $70,000, and all of your fees may be $5,000 to $10,000, which is better than nothing. And how it will work is you would get a licensed contractor to tell you what needs to be done to the property, and then we would move forward with the underwriting process for financing.
So how long is that whole process?
It depends on how fast the client submits their documents. If they move really slow, it could take 4 weeks. If they move really fast, it could take 7 to 10 days. From start to finish.
And then when I get the funds, then I can, go ahead and send my construction crew in and they can start the renovation.
Yep. So how it works is the money is distributed in phases. So back in the day, you used to get the full amount into your account, but people started to spend the money on all types of different things. Oh, wow. People got scammed. So now it's done in phases. After each phase is completed, the contractor gets their money. Yep. So it's a reimbursement. It depends on whoever puts the money up first. So if the contractor is buying the materials and doing the labor, then they'll get reimbursed. If you're paying the contractor out of your own pocket for the materials and labor, then you would get reimbursed. So it all depends.
So every time, so that's called a draw.
Yep, right? A draw request.
So every time I do it, so I got to put my money up first for them to get started, and then they pay me back.
It depends. So like if I'm dealing with a contractor, I'm only dealing with a contractor who puts their money up first. Because I feel like if you're a quality contractor, you should have enough money for the first phase and so on and so on.
And then they're going to reimburse him.
Yep.
And then when he get reimbursed, he got to go to the next phase.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what else?
So you need to have good credit. You need to have at least a 600 credit score. That is the minimum.
Back to that credit. I keep telling y'all.
So you can't have
What
any.
is her Instagram name? Hold on one second. It's at. Oh, Purple wants me to flip it around. Can you please put her Instagram name for me? Let me flip the camera. There we go.
So credit is really important. If you have collections and you have a lot of late payments, you will not get approved even if you have, let's say, an 800 credit score. People ask all the time, are you able to get financed if you had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, deed in lieu? You are, as long as it's 3 to 7 years old. So that doesn't stop you from obtaining financing and getting into the market. It doesn't stop you.
Everybody that credit, everything starts with your credit.
Yep, it's really important.
Everything. I'm telling you, I can't preach it enough. I told everybody before this whole pandemic thing, I've been telling family and friends for years, I'm like, listen, you guys have to get, go ahead and set your business up. Go ahead and get your LLC, your EIN. Go ahead and make sure your credit is straight and all that. And nobody listens.
It's important.
Nobody. Some of my followers listen. And they was in a position to benefit from all of this stuff that Trump is allocating to business owners. Because they was prepared.
With their business. And credit is really important. Like, even for us young people, when you're buying a car, when I got my car, my interest rate was, I think, 2.1%. And I was like, that's high, 2.1%. I was trying to get like 0.4%.
That's low, actually.
Yeah, but to me, I'm like, I got good credit. Like,
yes. What was the highest car interest rate you ever had?
They were like 20.
26.
I don't have no idea. It's just been that high.
No, but it really will be that high if you have bad credit. You ever had an high interest? No. All of my interest rates on my car is like 1%.
What's your Instagram again?
It's SESSIMARIE123. SESSIMARIE123. So when you're getting a car, credit is important.
SESSI. SESSIMARIE 1, 2, 3. So when you get in a car, what?
That's important to have good credit. When you're getting an apartment, they run your credit. They want to make sure that you don't have.
First of all, you got employers pulling credit.
They
you
do.
Want to get do they do that at the IRS? Do they pull credit? Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
So IRS, the police department, everywhere they're pulling credit. I remember I had a client that came into the office. And she said that she had passed the test to become a cop. She's going into the police academy, and she needed to get certain things off her credit in order to do that.
Even in the Army, they do that. Wow. You're not supposed to owe people and go to the Army and the Navy.
So, yes, so they're doing that. They're pulling credit in order to hire you. Insurance company pull credit to determine what your rate is going to be, your insurance rate. So, yes, very, very important. But do a lot of your friends have good credit? Do they even care? What do they do? Like,
I mean, when I was when I was 18, I got my first credit card through Wells Fargo. I had a bank account, and honestly, the only reason why I paid my credit card was because my mom told me to. Because I felt some kind of way that my friends at school, they weren't paying their credit cards, and the cards were still working. So we didn't know about credit. Yeah, we didn't know about credit scores and all that good stuff. It was just like, you got a Victoria's Secret credit card, you swipe it, you can get whatever you want. That's how it was. We thought it was free money. And I was in college, so people always think you go to school, you know everything. It's not true. And I would just pay it each month, and I would use a little bit. So when I got out of college, my scores were like a 760. They're a little lower now, but I always made sure that I paid it off each month or paid it down each month. So for my friends,
go ahead.
No, it's definitely played. Me starting off young and having good credit has played a good part. My mom didn't put stuff in my name. She didn't
play a good part in where you are right now. How have you benefited from having good credit?
Well, shoot, I was able to get business credit by having good personal credit. So I was able to buy my first properties, duplexes and triplexes and single families just by having good credit. I got to meet people.
That to purchase the property?
So my first property, I went to my aunt Neesh. I did her business credit 101. I think this was I was graduating again in Philly, and that was my graduation gift from her. So I did her business credit 101. But just to talk about that, remember what happened before I was supposed to get business credit? My score had dropped 200 points.
She didn't listen to Aunt Neesh.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
She said, Aunt Neesh!
I didn't want to pay.
I had a medical collection for $200.
Yep. So
and I ain't paying it.
That's what I said.
SESSI paid the medical collection. She's talking about no, because it
was an asthma attack.
Yes, it was an asthma attack, and I feel like I don't need to pay them. I said, SESSI, paid the $200 collection. SESSI, your scores are 700s. Please pay it. She ain't paying. What happened?
So I didn't pay it. I was feeling myself. I got a good credit. Got a nice car. I'm living my best life. So I go check. I was supposed to get business credit on Friday. It was a Monday. I go to myfico.com. That's what I use to monitor my credit. And it said your score has decreased. So I'm thinking, it went down like 1 or 2 points, whatever. It dropped 200 points. And I was really confused. I went from a 760 to a 5. It was like a 520. So it was like over 225 points.
You was devastated.
So I thought it was a joke. So I refreshed the page. It still showed the same score. So I called her like, I want to sue them. They put something on my credit report. They put a medical collection. It was just an asthma attack. Can I pay it now? Now I want to pay it after they put it on my credit report. So my aunt Neesh told me, call them and see do they do pay for deletion. Right. So every place does not do pay for deletion. Like Comcast, they don't do pay for deletion.
So what a pay for deletion is basically a pay for. So anytime your creditor will sell an account because you were delinquent and you just never, decided to pay the money back, they can sell it to a third-party collector, which is the collection company. Once the collection company owns that account, you owe them now, okay? If the collection company posts that collection to your credit, you can call and ask if they do pay for deletions, where you would actually give them the full amount that's due, and they will delete the account off of your credit report. And when they take it off, you'll get all your points back that you initially
I got some of my points back. I didn't get them all back. No.
But,
I lost like 20 points.
But if they don't offer a pay for deletion, then you have to do a settlement. And you won't get any points for doing settlement. So.
Yeah, so thank God they did. So it's like you want to go on a payment plan. I said, no, I'm going to pay it full. Take your little funky $200. And I had to wait. It took about like 3 weeks for my scores to go back up. So that prevented me from getting business credit the first round, because when you're applying for business credit, having the collection is like, they're like, why would we give you money?
Realize, like, you can go to the banks. Like, let's say, for instance, your scores may have not dropped that much. Let's say your scores were still 700, but you had that new collection on there.
Yeah.
You can go into the banks and try to apply for something. They would have denied you just for that new collection.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
Even if the collection is $5, they don't care. You need to settle your old debt prior to going to get new debt. Because the way the banks see it is, hey, you owe this company $200. Like, you haven't paid them. Why should we give you our money?
$20,000. Yeah, you can't even pay $200.
Right. So you gotta pay your debt off and then go to the banks. Of course, every bank has its own score requirement you need to meet in order to get approved. But you definitely don't want to go to the banks if you're trying to get any type of funding or anything like that. You want to have a clean profile with no collections, no charge-offs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after that, she sent me to different banks, and she built relationships. So relationships are extremely important.
We were just talking about that too with Dahidi, how important the relationships was, because she said her mother actually helped her to establish a relationship with PNC, and that's still who she banks with today. Because as a small child, her mom took her there, got her an account, and all that stuff. Those banking relationships is important. You see
They
that,
are,
right?
because they give you the game on what you're supposed to do to get it. So, like, with her relationship, they all love her. So they were extremely helpful. I was super nervous. I was being, like, pessimistic. I'm like, I'm not going to get no money. I'm young. Like, I don't know. I was just nervous that I wasn't going to get any business and personal credit. So I went to each bank. I did mine on 2 days. They say you should do it on 1 day. But I got a whole bunch of business and personal credit. This was when I was, 21, or was I 22? It was when I did the math, it was about 100,000. So I got 100,000. I think I was 21 in business and personal credit. So what I did was I went and I bought my first property. I think I spent 17,000, and then later on I sold it for 25. So I liked it.
Right?
I wholesale. I liked it because it didn't report to personal. Yep, I don't got time.
She do everything. CeCe does it all.
I got nothing but time when it comes to getting money.
CeCe does it all. So after you bought your first property, well, I know you Cleveland, right? Okay, so you bought your first property in Cleveland, then you bought another one, and then you decided that you was going to wholesale.
Yep. So you have to have a plan. When you're just buying your property, people will say, "Oh, I owe 30 properties." There's taxes, squatters,
Talk about that.
Property
Talk about
insurance,
the expenses, and some of the cons that comes with you owning real estate. Because I think we always talk about the good stuff.
Yep. Like how
Let's
you
talk
own all
about
these
some of
properties.
Like you said, taxes. If you own 30 properties, you have to pay 30 tax bills
every year.
Every year.
You got to make sure you don't get back taxes. And when you're buying properties, make sure they're owned free and clear. So you don't want to buy a property, for example, that has squatters, because getting squatters out of properties is almost impossible.
First of all, I bought a building in Cleveland I was told that it had a tenant in it. Comes out that the tenant is a squatter.
Yep.
So I just recently, because this whole pandemic, it would have took forever to evict this squatter. So what I did was, I said, listen, ma'am, I need you to go. I'm going to pay your rent for wherever you're going. I'm going to pay your rent. I'm going to put your deposit down. I just need to get you out of here because I was selling the property.
And that still took months?
It took months.
Even after she offered to pay the rent.
She really didn't have to go. She didn't have to accept my offer. So that little $1,300 that I spent for her first month in her deposit, that was the best $1,300 I could have spent just to get her out of there. Because if she hadn't left, the person that was buying it from me did not want to buy it with a squatter in there. So it was holding up my deal.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So I don't buy properties I don't want a tenant occupied property because a tenant occupied could be a squatter. So I only buy vacant properties. Because for me, like, there's a way that you have to get them out. And I'm from North Philadelphia, so I feel like if I want you out, you got to get out, lady. She's nicer than me. I'm not paying your rent, your security deposit. It's time to go. So, yeah. So to avoid that, I just buy properties that are vacant. I keep it simple. And I think that the taxes, depending on where the property is, it may be $200 a year or it may be $20,000 a year. You never know.
Very
so those
true.
taxes add up, and the city wants their money. People could break into your properties.
In this city, if your taxes are not paid on your stuff, you can't get rental license, you can't get a business license, you can't get nothing unless everything is paid up.
Absolutely.
I got a question for you. Because you deal with a lot of clients that you do funding for.
Yep.
What is one of the worst real estate horror stories you heard thus far?
There's like two. So the first one would be partnering with people, right? So when you get on the LLC, you get excited because you want to work with your friends and family. So there were three people on the LLC. So they got financing for a rehab loan, right?
Okay.
Everything's going good. One of the partners did something with the other partner's husband, and the deal was just over. So they weren't talking to each other and different things like that. So when you're doing real estate, everybody on the LLC has to sign off. If one person does not sign off, the deal cannot move forward. You can't do a cash out refinance. You cannot sell the property. Everybody has to agree. So to this day, the deal is still not done.
So they just have a house that's just sitting.
Yeah, and they had like the loan went into foreclosure, so like it's bad because everybody's credit is at risk, but they're mad at each other because something went down with the other person's. Yep, so that messed up the whole business. And to this day, it's still not handled.
So that can go as a foreclosure on their credit? Wow.
On all their
Although it's
credit.
under the business LLC.
Yep, because you're a personal guarantor. Regardless, when you're getting financing, you are personally saying that you're responsible for this loan, whether it's one member or it's three members. So if one person does not agree, the deal cannot move forward. So for me, I don't really partner with people on LLCs because that's a lot of money and that messes up your credit.
You gotta be careful because you could be partnering with people. You can have a 700 credit score and they might have a 300. Like what?
Yeah.
Yes. So give me another one and another horror.
Somebody bought a property off of someone and they didn't really own the property. So they were given a fake deed. They didn't go through a title company. So they spent $50,000 on the property and they gave it to the person. I think it was in cash or whatever the agreement was, a money order, whatever. And they didn't own the property. So when it came time to get financing, my underwriter flagged it. And I'm like, what are you flagging it for? I'm trying to get this deal closed. Like, she does not own this property. And so I had called her. She's like, of course I own this property. I have my deed, and the deed was fake. So the person ran off with the money. So I always tell my clients, I don't care who it is, never just wire anybody money.
Company.
You have to go through title company for
I'm
everything.
closing on one next week, and I'm like, title search, no games.
Yep, get a title search and make sure that you actually close with the title company. Don't get all excited and then wire somebody $30,000 or $40,000 because you hype because you want to close on this property. Right. You have to make sure the title is clear and that you actually own the property, and the person selling the property is the actual owner. So that's a huge scam.
Right, right. Well, thank you for the info, CeCe. So, listen, this is my niece once again, CeCe Marie. You can find her on Instagram at CeCe Marie. Is it financing on Instagram?
Yeah, I have different ones. CeCe Marie Financing or SESSIMARIE123.
Okay. And she does real estate deals. She's amazing. She's only 23 years old, and she's one of the most driven 23-year-old ambitious young women queening that I've ever met. She's a serial entrepreneur. She not only does financing, she's a real estate investor. She wholesales real estate deals, and she also invests in other businesses. So let's just give it up for CeCe.
Thank you.
So if y'all need her services, please go once again to CeCe Marie Financing on Instagram or SESSIMARIE123. I'm Maserati Neesh. Thank you for coming
Thank
through,
you for
blessing
having
us
me.
with this information. And you're tuned into the Neesh Speak podcast, where we are giving you financial game so that you can obtain financial gain.
Yes.
Loving on y'all.